If you've been lurking forums in the past decade, you may have noticed a growing use of the word comfy being used to describe a book, game, or movie that the OP has a specific familiarity with. When I looked for origins of it online, I was referred to this picture of Comfy Guy that you may have seen before. This meme was attributed to DeviantArt user Triangled Blue, originating in 2008 during a raid on 4chan. It's not like comfy was never used to describe media before this, but it has noticeably grown in popularity since the conception of Comfy Guy here. I know I've even posted this guy online to advocate how some media has made me feel. To actually define the term is relatively simple. A quick Google search brings you to comfortable, which is defined as providing physical ease and relaxation. So there, video over. Not really. A cool byproduct of the use of the word online is seeing how different it can be from person to person. It's something that I find myself looking for online a lot, and there are definite consistent works that come up in these searches. Among the first of those, we find low-risk games such as Stardew Valley or Animal Crossing. Having visited both, it'd be hard for me to argue these games as doing anything but providing physical ease and relaxation. So, comfortable can be clearly found in the looping nature of mundane tasks given in games, which is why we often see simulation games falling under comfy too. Euro Truck, The Sims, hell, even Minecraft. And these games often have somber soundtracks to really lean into what makes them feel like drinking tea while watching the rain fall slowly outside. But then we see short narrative games also being described as comfy. Games like Gone Home, Firewatch, A Short Hike all come up in looking up the term in video games together. And this could also be attributed to these games being low risk as well, but I think there's more to it than that. These particular games are also found under descriptions of atmospheric and explorative, and I think the cozy qualities of them lies therein. Firewatch and A Short Hike both center around calming walks through nature, while Gone Home is going through the familiar halls of the protagonist's childhood home on a rainy night. So comfy is a hike through nature, the warmth of a familiar place, the security that the mundane brings. It's something we've all experienced, and though they're so different, finding the cozy link between them is easy to see, but I don't need to tell you that it's wider than even that. So is comfy an aesthetic then? Maybe autumn colors? Both Firewatch and A Short Hike are painted in warm oranges and reds and yellows. This is expanded upon in some other popular games we find under the comfy umbrella, such as Life is Strange or Night in the Woods. Both emulate the feeling of walking through a small quiet town in autumn. But it's not seasonal like that either. The aforementioned Gone Home is equally comfy and exists on a rainy night, giving us the warm feeling of watching rain under shelter. This quadruples the comfiness of the rainy season in Persona 5. I mean, look at this. The song played during rainy sections beneath the mask has become synonymous with rain as a result of this. What I mean to say is that it isn't exclusive to a specific season or weather. There's comfort to be found in any season, such as sitting in the plaza of Delfino in Super Mario Sunshine, reminiscing of trips to a local beach, or Earthbound as a whole, giving us the perfect childhood freedom that summer vacation gave us. And of course, there has to be arguably the comfiest season of all, winter. I think this is why we often see Skyrim in discussions like this. The contrast of looking at the frigid peaks of the land to visiting the cozy cabins of Whiterun. It's why each year come December, I find myself tucking in many nights with a hot cup of cocoa and replaying snowy games like Batman Arkham Origins, Celeste, or even Silent Hill. I sought to make this video to describe what comfy is, but the more I research it, the more I find it evades definition. I learned that what provides me physical ease and relaxation is so different than what provides the same for someone else, but there's a kinship that seems to be shared among users of the cozy moniker. So, I dig deeper to find the root of it in myself. I think to how I've been replaying Kingdom Hearts 2 almost yearly since it came out. When times are hard, when times are slow, when I want to relish in a quiet moment to myself, I can easily reach physical ease and relaxation by wrapping myself in a warm blanket, dimming the lights, and hearing the familiar tune of Twilight Town from the opening moments of the game. So, nostalgia. Does that equate what makes physical media comfy to the individual? Relaxation is easier to achieve in familiar places, of course, and I've seen some really cool examples from tons of people on the internet describing what has often been called comfort games that are revisited by posters to achieve, well, you know. Some games that I've seen posted are the Katamari games, achieving the weird zen that only that game can achieve, or scanning planets for resources in Mass Effect 2, as the chill space electronica soundtrack drones and bloops around you. Like myself in Kingdom Hearts, I have more than a few friends that revisit an older Zelda game each year, them having memorized each nook and cranny that those adventures bring you. For me, it would be Wind Waker. But it can't purely be nostalgia, otherwise newer releases like A Short Hike or Life is Strange wouldn't be described or sought after as comfy games. Really, the more I look into it, the less sure I feel I have much right to define comfy. As soon as I brought up the word, I'm sure a wealth of your own favorites came flooding in your head. Memories and moments that gave you that fuzzy feeling that I can't describe for you, but that you understand completely inside. So why continue making this video? I'm effectively deconstructing the thesis the more I research. But even still, I feel like I could talk about this forever. It will be something in the back of my mind as I seek out media for the rest of my life. It's kind of always been there, and I think it probably always will be. A few years back, I was working at a smaller location of a chain bookstore and kept getting distracted by the cover of this book that elicits a lot of the same feelings we were talking about above, called The Little Book of Hygge, The Danish Way to Live Well by Mike Viking. I eventually had to read into it and realize that this Hygge thing was the thing I found myself seeking out every night. Going back to Google, Hygge is a quality of coziness and comfortable conviviality that engenders a feeling of contentment or well-being. I read this and think of the Hygge moments in my own life. I think of sitting around the microwave with friends as we wait for our Baileys and hot chocolate to warm up as the snow falls outside. I think of a plate of cheeses and crackers beside me as I read an old book while sitting beside an open window on a rainy day. I think of Twilight Town, and the image of Roxas and his friends eating sea salt ice cream while sitting atop the clock tower. I won't expand too much on what I think Hygge is, so as not to culturally appropriate the word with my dirty Western tongue. But needless to say, a lot of these games are seeking to bring what is essentially Hygge, I think. And Hygge's no secret. If you want to know more, there's a well-watched Vice documentary about it where they interview the author of the book himself, which I'll link below. But if you want a deeper reading, I'd implore you to seek out the book itself, as it's a treasure trove of comfortable living. The clarity at which I was able to revisit these moments upon discovering Hygge had me realize that maybe these were moments where I was truly present. These were moments where I inhaled the sights, sounds, and smells around me so that I could remember them forever. And I do, even despite my very shoddy memory. There was no autopilot. I was purposely existing. And so placing me back in those times was so easy because it was like setting my body back into the experience. So maybe I'm at my comfiest when I'm really, truly present. Comfy, to me at least, must exist in moments. And so it's in moments and games that I feel this way. Fans of survival horror are more than aware of the concept of the save room. For the most part, these games aim to invoke sincere dread and fear out of the player. We roam dark hallways on the edge of our seat, expecting some terror to be dropped at us at any moment. But then we open a door and... the tension drips away, and a moment is made. We exhale and spend a little time checking our inventory, vitals, and of course, save the game. I think save rooms are among the most frequently earned moments in video games. It's what helps make the pacing of these games so perfect. Usually survival horror games are made to be much shorter than most games, but they always feel longer. I'm always surprised to see after playthroughs of Resident Evil or Silent Hill that my total game time is often less than 10 hours. The constant dread the game keeps you in extends the length of it in our heads. We peek around each corner practically begging for the next room to fade out and fade back in with that soothing music. I'm not sure about anyone else, but upon entering a save room, I usually put the controller down. I let the safety and the ease wash over me, and I feel, well, comfy. And in these moments, I'm present. I check my inventory, my vitals, and piece together each part of me to know that I'm all here. And I'm not alone in this, it seems. There are countless atmospheric playlists and ambient videos on YouTube of save rooms, and specifically save room music from various horror games. For an in-depth look at these moments in games, check out Jacob Geller's video on it, which I'll link below, because I think he really nails what makes them so special. I hope I haven't been too exclusive on what it is in media that makes it comfy, as the biggest take I've gathered from researching this is how far-reaching the term is for different people. It's been really cool to read all of them, as I think relishing in these moments offer peeks into what each and every one of us hold dear, and I think because of that, this topic is endlessly explorable. Sure, similar games will come up, but someone somewhere will have had a moment that belonged to them, one which they can set themselves back into the same as anyone else. And that means comfy can mean virtually anything. And what's so awesome about that is that even though I'm not able to be present in these memories with these internet strangers, I still feel comfy myself when I read what those moments meant for them. So I think to end off this video, I'm going to share some smaller games I've found recently that evoke what we've been chatting about here. These games exist in moments that are experienced and shared by each of their respective creators. And I think I'll stop my voiceover while they're on screen, so that these moments can speak for themselves, as they are able to do so very well. I'll link to where you can find each of these games down below. I hope you too can find them comfy.
午前9時から始まった開会式では、去年の優勝追加手付けで保険医の登録を取り消すことを業務を受ける名古屋市の壁統一論で去年10月
うん。